Long before the whine of motorbikes or the hum of generators filled the air, the land of Eloro slept beneath the slow rhythm of drums. The sun rose gently over red clay rooftops, lighting the palm trees that bowed like dancers in the morning breeze. To the west, the Ocean River curved like a silver serpent, whispering stories of the gods. To the east, far beyond the farms, stood the sacred Iroko Hill, where the wind was said to carry the voices of the ancestors. The people of Elaro were farmers, traders, and drummers, people who spoke in rhythm. They believed every child came into the world carrying an invisible drumbeat inside their soul, a rhythm chosen by the gods before birth. Some beats brought peace. Others brought storms. And on one storm-tossed night, the gods sent thunder. The child of lightning. The sky split open like a gourd, spilling fire and sound over the village. Lightning flashed thrice, once above the Osun River, once over the sacred grove, and once above the hut of Ololagba the carver, where a woman screamed in labor. Thunder is counting for this child, the midwife cried, fear and awe in her eyes. Then came the final crack, and with it, a cry so sharp it silenced the rain. When Adégún Olátúnji was born, the storm ended instantly. The clouds rolled away. The moon appeared, bright and full. And the village priest, Boba Or, arrived at the doorway, his eyes glowing like embers. He gazed at the newborn and murmured, "This boy carries thunder in his blood. His hands will awaken gods, or bring them to ruin." The people trembled, for they knew the priest's words never failed. Adégún's father, Olawolagba, was the greatest carver in all of Eloro. His hands could turn dead wood into living spirits, batter drums that spoke, masks that danced, figures that seemed to breathe. He was the guardian of the drum of Ayamo, a sacred instrument said to hold the voice of the gods themselves. Every stroke of the knife, he told young Adégún, is a prayer. Every drumbeat is a bridge between man and spirit. Adégún listened. Even as a child, he felt rhythms others couldn't hear, the heartbeat of the river, the rustle of wind through palm fronds, the whisper of ants in dry earth. By 7, he could mimic any drumbeat. By 10, he carved his first drum, so perfect that even the priest bowed to its sound. But greatness brings envy. In Eloro lived another craftsman, Ogunjimi, whose pride was as heavy as iron. He could not bear that a boy should outshine him. One evening, as the sun bled into the horizon, he came to Olawolagba's compound with honeyed words and a dark heart. "Brother," he said, smiling too wide, "I hear your son carves as if the gods guide his hands. Be careful, when mortals outshine the spirits grow jealous." Olawolagba only smiled. If the gods gave him the gift, then the gods will guide it. But that night, while the carver slept, Ogunjimi crept into the workshop and whispered curses over the sacred drum they were making, the drum that will soon be played at the Egungun festival, when the ancestors walked among the living. The day the drums fell silent, the festival dawned in glory. Women wrapped in bright osok danced through the streets, men beat drums, children ran laughing, and the smell of roasted yam filled the air. At sunset, the sacred mass bearers appeared, spinning, shimmering in cloth and feathers. Adégún stepped forward to play his father's new drum, the drum of Ayamo, before the crowd and the priest. The first strike echoed like thunder. The second, like the rolling of clouds. But the third, crack! The drum split in two. The sound died instantly. The dancers froze. The mask stumbled. The priest gasped. And in that breathless silence, a voice carried on the wind. "The gods have turned away." Panic spread through Eloro. People fled. Women wept. The festival ended in ruin. Olawolagba fell to his knees beside the broken drum, tears carving lines through the dust on his face. He turned to his son, who stood frozen, terrified. "Go inside," Olawolagba said softly. "It was not your fault." But before the next dawn, he was gone. The villagers found him lifeless beside the Osun River, his carving knife in his hand and peace on his face. The priest said the gods had claimed him. Adégún buried his father beneath the Iroko tree. He did not cry. He only said, "If the gods took my father, then one day, I will make the gods listen." Years passed. The boy became a man, but silence followed him like a shadow. He refused to play again. When the village gathered for drumming, he stayed behind. When festivals called, he hid in his father's workshop, staring at the broken drum, wondering why thunder had turned against him. Then came famine. The Ocean River began to dry. The crops wilted. Even the drums lost their joy. The people began to whisper, "The gods are angry because the drum has not sung again." But Adégún could not bear it. He felt the curse in his blood. And so, one night, he left Ilaro without saying goodbye, walking into the dark road that led to Lagos. Lagos was a world of noise and hunger. The streets shouted. Cars fought like demons. The air was thick with smoke and sweat. Adégún walked where he could, carrying cement, cleaning gutters, sleeping under bridges. But sometimes, when night fell quiet, he tapped his fingers on the ground, and the city seemed to breathe to his rhythm. Years went by. His hands grew hard, but his heart stayed hollow. Until one evening, walking through Balegan Market, he heard a familiar sound, drums. Yoruba drums, calling him like a voice from home. He followed the sound to a small courtyard, where a group of men rehearsed for a stage play. The leader, a tall, elegant man in agbada, turned and said, "You there. You've been standing too long. Do you know how to play?" Adégún stepped forward, eyes bright for the first time in years. "Yes," he said quietly. "I was born to." The man handed him a drum. The others laughed until Adégún struck the first beat. It was thunder. The second, lightning. The third, the sound of the ocean herself. The courtyard fell silent. Then the leader smiled slowly. "My name is Chief Adéún," he said. "And from this day, you will drum for the world." Adégún traveled across Nigeria with Chief Adéún's troop, from Ibadan's hills to Enugu's forest, from Abuja's palaces to Port Harcourt's rivers. He played for kings, governors, and crowds of thousands. His name spread like music, Adégún the Thunder Drummer. But every night, when applause faded, he dreamt of his father. He saw the broken drum. He heard the Ocean River whispering, "Return. The gods are waiting." Then one day, a letter found him. It came in the trembling hand of an old courier from Ilaro. It read, "Adégún, my son. The river has stopped flowing. The crops are dying. Your mother is sick. The drum of Aramol is silent. Only you can wake it again. Boba or." Adégún's hands shook. He stared at the city lights, tears in his eyes. The thunder roared above Lagos, and he knew his destiny had come full circle. He packed his drum, bowed to Chief Adéún, and whispered, "It is time to return home."